Let people jump up in here. We're going to go ahead and start us off, as always, with some music.
Man, I came from the gutter, made it to the top. Go hard, now work hard for everything that I got. Gotta keep it moving, you know I can't stop. I'm in my own lane now, and I'm going all out. I got a warrior spirit, beast mode mentality. Don't be afraid to live your dreams and make them a reality. Warrior spirit, beast mode mentality. Don't be afraid to live your dreams and make them a reality. Trying to keep a positive mind. I keep my focus on God and I keep my eyes on the prize. If you ever thought about giving up, put them thoughts to the side and don't let nobody lead you astray with influential lies. Alright, hey now, wait now, we better get down, don't lay down. Be about business, we don't play around. Everybody wanna win, but don't wanna work out. It's my team strength that I lean on. Warrior spirit, my team strong. Beast mode, what I be on. I ain't giving up cause I gotta keep going. I'm trying to reach my potential in life. Don't hold me down. Don't try to dim my light. I'm out here grinding each and every night. Just know about it. Ready for the fight. The struggle of it made me the man I am today. We try to win, just in a different way. We hustle different, but we on the same page. Ask me how I feel, and this is what I gotta say. Came from the gutter, made it to the top. Go hard, now work hard for everything that I got. Gotta keep it moving, you know I can't stop. I'm in my own lane now, and I'm going all out. I got a warrior spirit, beast mode mentality. Don't be afraid to live your dreams and make them
Just
a
another
reality.
2 minutes, guys. Eliminate those distractions. Next 60 to 90 minutes. You're with me.
Don't be
Let's go,
afraid
baby.
to live your dreams and make them a reality.
In my own lane in overdrive. Ain't nothing easy, it's a bumpy ride. Now you gotta understand that I go hard for mine. And I ain't got time to mend your broken pride. Cause I gotta go and get mine and don't let nobody take you away from your happiness and what you deserve. Positive energy isn't a pedigree. Come get infected and study the words I'm putting on for my people, letting them know that we all one. Gotta stay together like birds and feathers and remember, we ain't done.
I'm trying to let you know, whatever you've been through before, you gotta let that go and move along, but you gotta go harder, be harder.
This song goes out the mat, baby. Let's go. Give it another 60 to 90 seconds. Let some people jump up in here.
I hopped off the plane at LAX with a dream in my cardigan. Welcome to the land of fame excess. Am I gonna fit in? Jumped in the cab, here I am for the first time. Look to my right and I see the Hollywood sign. This is all so crazy. Everybody seems so famous. My tummy's turning and I'm feeling kinda homesick. Too much pressure and I'm nervous. That's when the taxi man turned on the radio and a Jay-Z song was on. And the Jay-Z song was on. And the Jay-Z song was on. So I put my hands up to play my song with butterflies fly away. Nodding in my head like yeah, moving my hips like yeah. Got my hands
Giving this one more minute, guys. All distractions. Eliminate them. Eliminate them. Go, baby.
Yeah, it's a party in the USA. Yeah, it's a party in the USA. Get to the club in my taxi cab. Everybody's looking at me now. Like, who's that chick that's rocking kicks? She gotta be from out of town. So hard with my girls on around me. It's definitely not a Nashville party. Cause all I see are stilettos. I guess I never got the memo. My tummy's turning and I'm feeling kinda homesick. Too much pressure and I'm nervous. That's when the DJ dropped my favorite tune. And the Britney song was on. And the Britney song was on. And the Britney song was on. So I put my hands up to play my song with butterflies fly away. Nodding in my head
right, I'm gonna go ahead and stop this share. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Rewire Your Mindset and Reshape Your Skill Set. Thank you for everybody who's jumping on camera. If you got your camera, go ahead and turn it on. It doesn't matter what you look like. We're all here to grow. So first off, want to go ahead and welcome Matt and Kayla. I know you guys are on here. I think Kayla's on here. And she had to restart her computer. Matt, what is going on, brother?
Not much, man. How are you?
I'm doing phenomenal, man. It's a beautiful day here, and got a morning workout in as always, and crushed my morning routine, and just ready to deliver some value.
Good deal, man. Well,
Yeah,
it's a good
so
thing.
I appreciate you jumping in from beautiful Nashville. Is it raining there today or what?
There ain't no party like a Nashville party.
For everybody that doesn't know, Matt likes to dance to that song every time we go out. But not going to lie, so do I. So I had to play it for you, brother. Kayla, I don't know if she's on right now. She'll jump on in a minute. So for those of you just jumping on, that's never been on any of our calls last month, we did this every week. So we did a Rewire Your Mindset and Reshape Your Skill Set session every single Wednesday. And with some places opening up and a lot of other things going on, we decided to just make it every other week. We'd have 150, 200 people on every week. So we decided, since we have the every other Monday conversion call, we'll do this every other Wednesday on the opposite week. So thank you for registering. If you have anybody on your team that you know needs to be on these types of calls, send them out that registration link. Once again, everybody who is registered on the last one, sometimes they think they could still use that, but obviously it's not the way it works. Looks like, nope, Kayla's still not there. She's still the universe. So guys, what I want to dive into today, something that actually I was listening to, it just really blew my mind. And maybe some of you guys have heard or saw what I'm about to show you guys, but when I actually paid attention to what I was digesting this morning with the content I was pouring into me, I was like, I just have to share this with you guys because it's so remarkable how powerful our language is. And I'll show you in a second, but it looks like Kayla's over in outer space. Kayla, what is going on? How are you? You're muted.
Hey, I'm so sorry. I'm having an internet problem this morning, but I think I've got everything good.
All good. Not a big deal. So how you doing over there in Atlanta?
It's good. I got work being done on my house. The weather's nice. We're all good.
Awesome. So is that the new house that you just bought?
It is. Yeah.
Awesome. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, guys, so I'm going to share my screen with you. Once again, if you guys can, put on your cameras. I love this virtual communication, and the deeper we can get, face-to-face, the better. And then just keep yourselves on mute. There you go. Ahead and mute some people. And Kayla's got the magic mute finger as well, just so we can go ahead and we'll unmute you when there's questions and things of that nature. So I'm going to share my screen. I just want you guys to take 1 minute to watch this video. Let me go find it. Take a look.
5-5 in a delirious 10th inning. Can you believe this ball game at Shea?
Oh, brother.
3-2 to Mookie Wilson. Little roller up along first. Behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it. If one picture is worth 1,000 words, you have seen about 1,000,000 words. But more than that, you have seen an absolutely bizarre finish to Game 6 of the 1986 World Series. The Mets are not only alive, they are well.
Okay, the reason why I showed that, maybe some of you guys remember that, or maybe some of you guys have no idea what that is. It was Game 6 of the World Series, and it was the Mets versus the Red Sox. And first base was a guy named Bill Buckner, okay? And it was in the 10th inning. And for those of you who aren't baseball fans, it's like extra innings. It's overtime, right? And all of a sudden, tie game, there's a guy on third, and all they need is a hit to bring that guy home to win the game. All of a sudden, a little ground ball, a ground ball that every single day they take 100 of those ground balls, and they get it, and they walk to first, and they get the out. Well, the ground ball goes, and Bill Buckner goes to get down, and it goes right between his legs. The guy in third comes home and scores. and the Mets go ahead and win the game. Why is that? Why'd I show you guys that, right? Why'd I show you that? Well, come to find out, 19 days before that World Series game, Bill Buckner, the guy with the ball went between his legs, is on film saying this: it would be a dream to win the World Series, but a nightmare would be to lose it on a ground ball between my legs. It would be a dream to win the World Series, but a nightmare would be losing it, the ground ball between my legs. Now, why is that so powerful? So this is stats that have been run over and over and over again. When you say negative things out loud, write this down, it increases that outcome of actually happening 40 to 50%. I was listening to Ed Milet and this guy named Trevor talking about it, and he's a high performance coach. He coaches people like Derek Jeter. He coaches, I think, a lot of people on a Roll Tide team. He coaches Russell Wilson. So this guy, 19 days before this happened, spoke it into existence. Spoke it into existence. Now, what the hell does that mean to you? What are you saying every day that doesn't serve you? Now, when we think it, that's one thing. But are you saying out loud, man, no one's going to pick up the phone. Man, no one's going to want to do anything while this whole event is going on. You know what? I don't know if I'm going to be able to pay those bills. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to create that success I want. Like, are you saying those things out loud? Because if you are, it's a 40 to 50% chance that it's going to happen. It increases it 40 to 50%. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not willing to mess with my life and my future with those odds. Like, my family means way more to me. Like, what I want in this life means way more to me than trying to mess and try to go against what those stats say. So think about the things before you jump on a call. Think about the things when you wake up. What are you saying out loud? Saying it to yourself is one level of speaking into existence. But when you actually vocalize those words into the universe, it is oddly, creepily weird, but it's facts on how it comes back to you in your life. This guy's entire life changed. He's known as the guy that blew the World Series. What if he didn't say those words? It would have had a 50% less chance of it happening. I'll take those odds, right? I'll take those odds. Another thing that they're talking about is if you watch 3 minutes of the news, it'll increase your chance of having a rough day. It'll increase your negativity 27%. So if you're watching the news for 3 minutes, 27% chance it'll increase your negativity. Guys, I'm trying to help you win on all levels of life right now. Like, here are those stats. Do not ignore them. This is not just made up stuff. These are facts. These are study after study after study. Like, the best minds in the world have created these things. And so there's another story I'll tell you real quick, and then I'll get into something else. There's this guy who he was skipping school. He was a junior, right? He was skipping school all the time, and he never wanted to go to class. He was like, man, school's not for me, yada, 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 and wasn't going to class. His dad goes, yeah, but you have to take the SATs. Just take the SATs. So he takes the SATs, and now the SATs, for those of you that don't know, there's two parts of it. One scores 800, the other scores 800. Those are perfect scores. This guy got a 1480 combined. Nearly perfect. The guy never wanted to go to class, was failing everything. He got a 1480 on his SATs. The best score you get is 1600. Like, that's almost genius-like. Well, he decided, you know what? I mean, if I can get a 1480, it means I should probably start going to class. So he starts going to class, and he goes to community college, and all of a sudden, like, people are paying more attention to him because he's in class, he's paying attention. He then gets his MBA, and then becomes a super successful person. Well, years later, he gets this letter from Princeton, New Jersey. And the letter comes in from Princeton, New Jersey, and his wife's like, open it. And he's like, okay, I'll just open it. So he opens it. And the letter was from the people that actually do the SATs, right? The company that facilitates it all and does everything within it. And every year they do these audits. Well, they did an audit for the year that he took his SATs. And they told him he was one of 13 people that they sent the wrong SAT scores to. He did not have a 1480. He had a 740. Guys, he had a 740, not a 1480. And this guy went on to build a very successful life because he had a 1480, started going to class and started doing all the right things. And they said, man, you know, like, how do you feel? He goes, it wasn't the 1480 that made me successful. It was believing that I was worth a 1480. Believing I was a 1480 that made me successful. And he started taking the right action steps. So it's not that you have to have all the income in the world right now or have all the sales under your belt or have all the things that you want. But you better start believing that you can have all that. Because that's all it takes sometimes, is that massive belief to drive you into the next step, the next action, the next action. And so that one little nugget right there hopefully could take you into your day. But I do want to go into some other things here. And this one I really want to dive into. And I'm going to get into, I want to role play with at least one, maybe two people today. But this one kept showing up in my life the last 2 weeks. It kept showing up in my life with people I've been speaking to. So I feel like it'd be a disservice for me not to bring it to your attention on kind of what's been shined in my life, because I feel like, once again, the universe showed me I need to go ahead and articulate that to as many people as possible. So how many people right now, like, they sit there and they're like thinking about the future, thinking about the money they want to make, the cars, the houses, the experiences? Like, raise your hand right now if you're like, man, I'm like always thinking like, what's next, what's next, what's next, right? Like, raise your hand. Like, don't be shy. Raise them. And you're thinking about, okay, how can I accomplish this? How can I accomplish this? How can I accomplish this? The way our mind works, it's funny. I don't have like a necklace or anything. Okay, so look at my pen. Everybody knows what a pendulum is, right? Everybody knows what a pendulum is, right? When you swing it this way, what happens? Whoop, swings back this way, right? And swings this way. So I'm going to show you how your mind is like a pendulum. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Pop this up. Okay. Matt, can you see this? Everybody can see this?
Got it.
Yep. Perfect. Okay. So this is what happens. And this is, once again, this isn't just like made up stuff. This is actually facts. So here we are today. Here we are in the present moment. All right. Now, all of a sudden, you're anticipating what you want in the future. You start worrying about what you want, what's next, all the things you want to have. Do you know what your mind does? It then pendulum swings to the left side of your brain to try to confirm that that's possible. And the problem with that is the left side of your brain prioritizes negative perspective to keep you safe. It prioritizes the negative skewed past experiences, events in your life, the culture you grew up in, to keep you safe. That's its job, is to keep you safe. So if you're asking yourself, you know what, Matt, man, I really want to go ahead and I want to create this income. I want to make $300,000. I want to make $500,000. I want to buy that house. I'm going to create those experiences. Your mind, without you trying to even do anything else, will automatically go back and ask your past, hey, past, can I have this? Can I make this happen? And your past is like, no, remember the time when someone called you stupid? You can't go ahead and make that kind of money. No, remember the time when your family screwed you up? Yeah, that's not possible. No, remember the time when you lost everything? There's no way you can go back and get that. So then you go back to worry, oh my God, how can I not do that? Go back. Hey, mind, in the past, do you think it's possible? Nope, it's definitely not. Stay here, stay safe. And you do this vicious pendulum swing all day long, all day long. And where you're missing on is the most powerful place you could be, which is in the present. The powerful place you could be is in the present. Right now, think about it. Everybody, if you're looking at me, look at me, right? If you're here, be here. Feel your feet on the ground right now, right? Like, look at the computer or your phone, whatever you're looking at. In your peripherals, you can see the things around you. Take a deep breath. Like, you feel that, right? This is the most powerful place you could be, is when you're right here, right now, at all periods of time. So when you start thinking too much about the future, you need to pull yourself back to the present, Because all you're doing is you're asking your negative skewed experiences if it's true. And that's never going to serve you. It's never going to serve you. No, I'm not telling you to prepare for your week. I'm not telling you to get clear on what you want. But the more you live in that future, the less you're going to be able to create that future. In the morning, say your affirmations, right? Prepare for your day. But you got to be in the present. You got to be in the now. Your power is in the present. Once again, I'll show you one more time. Here we are right now. When you start thinking about what you want in your life, right? The future, and you stay there, the only way for you to believe it is for you to go back and ask your past, can I have it? And most of us, our past, if we go back and ask our past, it's not going to understand the future. It's going to hold us safe. It's going to say, no, you can't have that. Stay safe. You don't need that. No, remember someone screwed you over. Remember you were told that real estate isn't going to work for you. You were told that, you know, you're a used car salesman, not a real estate agent. You were told all these things. No, you can't have that. Then you go back to the future and you're like, it's not going to be right. I can't get there. And then what happens to your action? Lack thereof. What happens to your mindset, right? Anxiety, feeling overwhelmed, possible depression. And you play this vicious game of pendulum swing when you just need to stop it and just stay in the present moment, guys. Your power is in the now. I'm not saying that, you know, we're not going to go ahead and have these events where you start looking to the future, but I want you to live in the now more than ever. Live in the now more than ever, because that's where your power is. I want to know in the chat, are you guys resonating with this? Do you guys understand this? Do you guys feel this? Because it's truly, like, think about this, man. Like, you know, I have a friend of mine. Actually, you know, I'll talk about my own experience. So, I had a great weekend. My family was here. We went to the beach, and, you know, my family drove in from Orlando, and we just had a great time. I don't remember much. Like, I remember things here and there, but you know what I can remember? I can remember the day that I got put in jail. I can remember exactly what I was wearing. I can remember exactly what the judge said. I can remember the feeling that I had. I can remember the fogginess. Right? You know what I can remember? I can remember sitting there and being told that my grandma passed away, the lifeline to our family. I could tell you what I was wearing. I could tell you what car I drove in. I could tell you everything. Why can I remember those things so distinctly, but I can't remember what happened this past weekend? It was a good time. It's because our brain will prioritize these negative experiences to keep us safe. We can't really do much about that. We can't. But what we can do, we can say, I'm going to live for the now. I'm going to live in this present moment. Look, if I want to make dials, I'm making dials. I'm setting 2 appointments. Let's go. 90 minutes. It's just me and this phone. Right? If I want to be with my family, it's just going to be the next X amount of hours, just me and my family, being present. The power is in your present, guys. Get back to the present. Get back to the now more than often. And the reason why I started with the Bill Buckner story is because a lot of times we say the things that we don't want in life, right? But yet we attract them. And so you're contradicting what you truly want. And so if you're speaking these negative terms, this negative language, right, your negative mind is going to say, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, people are horrible. Yeah, the world is falling apart. Yeah, this industry is going to eat you up and spit you out. That's what it's going to say, because it's just trying to keep you safe, because it remembers a negative experience that can relate to the thing that you're saying. Does that make sense, guys? Does that make sense? So I just wanted to start with that today because, like I said, I always feel like if there's something that's here, I feel like I just needed to come out and say it, and hopefully people resonated with, and hopefully it could change somebody's life today. Matt, brother, what do you think about that message? I know you and I had talked right before we got on the call, and it was funny that you sent me something, and you didn't really know what the topic was going to be about today, but it kind of aligned.
Yeah, and another thing too, just to kind of further analogize, like Bill Buckner. I mean, the guy and being a Mets fan, I appreciate you starting the call with that video. So thanks for that.
Yankees, baby.
Just thinking about that position that he was in, if he's actually in the present, throw out the whole like speaking the ground ball thing into existence. I do believe that, and he didn't do himself any favors with that, but that guy has fielded probably millions of routine ground balls during practice and games. And if he's actually in the present at that very moment, he fields that ground ball, makes the out, and that run does not score. But instead, he was thinking ahead. His eyes were on the runner versus that ground ball. And I think that's kind of the perfect analogy for like the pendulum thing that you showed. We've got to be in the very present, and taking care of what we have to take care of, controlling what we can control. And that it's a great analogy for what you showed, man. So I appreciate that.
And actually, man, that's why I love these kind of calls. Like, I didn't even think about that part of it. Like thinking about the next step versus being in that present moment and just doing it. That's awesome, man, to have that understanding and insight. That I thank you for that, man, because that's actually a huge aha even for me. To tell everybody what you sent me with Pinky. Is it Pinky? Was it? Is his name right?
Inky Johnson.
Pinky.
Again,
whatever.
Just like the Mets, I'm partial to Inky because he's a Tennessee football player, but there was a tweet that I read this morning from Inky, and it said, ships don't sink because of water around them. Ships sink because of the water that gets in them. So don't let what happens around you get inside you and weigh you down. And there's
repeat that one more time for them, because I want them to hear it. I want you guys to hear it and let this soak in. No pun intended.
Sure. It says ships don't sink because of the water that's around them. Ships sink because of the water that we let get in them. And just with everything that's going on, in our world, I thought that was very, very fitting for this call and just life in general.
Yeah, and I love that, man. And Inky's a guy that he had everything that was going for him as far as came from a rough family, but he was about to be in the NFL, and one hit, went ahead and basically crippled one side of his body, right, his arm. And so now he's, everything in a minute just turns. And Inky's big thing is perspective. And that's mine as well, of like, I got an arm that's useless. It's dangling right now. But he, within a few minutes, changed his perspective. So guys, let's take these messages today and let's live them, The one thing that I hate doing is speaking and then people hear them, but they didn't take notes. They didn't feel it. They didn't let it soak in. They didn't let it embrace them. I know obviously some people did, but like when you're here with us, be here with us, right? When you're on calls like this, like there could be one small shift that just changes everything. Like it's not always like this huge thing that like just blew your mind and all of a sudden like that was the one thing that changed your life. It's like these little moments. And a lot of times we miss these little moments because we're not in the present. We're not in the now. Kayla, what is going on, girl? Tell me what your thoughts on that.
Yeah, so at the beginning of the year, I set some like goals for myself, and one of them was to start a meditation practice. And so I've been doing that every morning for like 10 or 15 minutes. And it's been really great. I played a lot of sports growing up, and my dad used to do this thing with me before really important games because I had a ton of anxiety as a kid. Like way more than a child should have, because nothing bad had ever happened to me, but I just naturally had a lot of anxiety. And my dad used to do this thing he would call setting my mind before a big game, because I would just be overthinking it and acting crazy. And it was literally like the night before, he'd turn the lights off in my room and sit by my bed, and I basically do like a guided meditation with me, but before anybody really knew that's what it was doing. And so it's funny having that analogy to the ball between the legs or whatever, because that was totally me sometimes. I've got to throw this runner out at third, and then it's just right past me because I was thinking too heavy about it. So yeah, the meditation that I've been doing in the morning has been awesome for me, because it's just like tapping into like another level of consciousness that you've been ignoring for so long, and living up here in your head and worrying about things that can go wrong. And it's been crazy just being able to be like, it's going to happen, but how I react to it is everything, and not letting, it cause me to react.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm into everything that you're throwing down today.
And yeah, she said she was in her head, right? How many times, guys, are you living and staying in your head versus your heart? Right? Cliche, maybe it may sound to some of you guys, but it's facts. It's true. Like when we're in our head and not in our heart, like in her heart of hearts, she knew that she could throw that person out, right? In her heart of hearts, she knew she can get down and field that ball. But in her head, she's like, what's next? What's next? What's next? So even on sales calls, where you at? You in your head? Or you in your heart?
I mean, yeah, so many times I hear in training, well, I didn't know what to say next on that call. And it's like, you shouldn't be thinking 2 or 3 steps ahead. You need to be responding to what the person says.
And it takes fielding 1,000 ground balls to be able to truly feel and be in your heart, right? Like so we talk about role playing and this practice and this deep work. It really takes that to be in your heart and be in the moment, because otherwise you're going to be in your head. If you don't know what's coming next, your mind's always going to try to anticipate, right? Always going to try to anticipate. So for you guys, it's like, okay, how can I get more in the present? How can I be more in my heart and not in my head? Well, take the things that we're going to be giving you guys every single week on the scripting and everything else, and role play it, practice it, let it become one, right? So what I want to do now is I want to open this thing up to see who has questions about what we just went over, or anything mindset wise before we dive into, or productivity wise, whatever, before we dive into some scripting. And while we do that, in the chat, because Kayla's going to be monitoring it, I want you guys to write down your biggest obstacles, the biggest objections, what's going on in your real estate world that you're struggling with. Put that into the chat. And then also I could unmute you at the same time so we can go ahead and get a deeper clarification on it. But if you have any questions or anything like that you have on what we just spoke about, or productivity or whatever, I want you to do yourself a favor and do us a favor, unmute yourself, and let's have a quick conversation. We'll take a few questions first, and then we'll dive into scripting. So if you have any questions, don't be shy. Being vulnerable, you guys know how I feel about it. And if not, then I can just look into the chat box. So go unmute yourself if you have any questions. Otherwise, put into the chat things that you're dealing with in real estate, scripts, whatever it might be, in order to get that tool that you need.
And also, if you want to be unmuted but can't quite get it, if you give me the thumbs up reaction, then I can see that you want to be unmuted and I can unmute you.
Yeah, or just put into the chat whatever that you want to be unmuted. And we can go ahead and definitely unmute you. So Matt, while I do that, tell me, you've been out there, you've been dialing. What are some things that you've been seeing? Things have changed a little bit. Stephanie wants to be unmuted. So you got that?
Yep.
And think about that, Matt, when we come back to some things that you've been seeing, because things have been shifting a little bit, what's going on with the world. So I'm so curious on what you're seeing.
All right, Stephanie, can you say something for us? We can see if we can hear you.
Yes. I've been struggling with depression quite a bit because I had some health issues. And my biggest problem is leads right now. And I'm on a fixed income and my leads have totally dropped, and I'm learning WordPress, and I'm making a new website myself in WordPress. So I'm been having the greatest luck. Well, I have a few more things to do and then I'm going to get it on, but I'm just grateful for this because I haven't taken enough time to learn the CINC program enough, and that's why I joined today. I want to really use this and utilize it. And I haven't been doing that, and I think that's a lot of my problem. And now that I'm going to be inside for a while, yet another couple weeks or so, because of age. So I'm going to do this.
Let me ask you something, Stephanie. First off, thanks for the vulnerability, right? Like that's huge, and that's beautiful at the same time. And I hope that allows other people to be vulnerable in all their other situations in their life. Why are you focusing on a website versus your highest dollar activity? Like, what's the goal of this website?
Well, I've been studying a lot, and I think that I had a website with GoDaddy. I had one page, and I sent it out to people, and they responded to that site. But I found that it didn't have enough on there, and I've been, learning how to sell myself and how to I want to get my name out there, and I want to get a better page. So I've got the header and half the page done for a landing page. And I want it to connect so that I could connect it with CINC. Somebody comes out, they'll have everything they need there. I can put on my, my past customers. I've got pictures. I've got a blog page set up. I've been working on fixing that up so that people know me. And
So
I
you
sell
could do
myself,
that. So you could do that through CINC, right? That could all be done through CINC. You have your own website via CINC. So what I would suggest is to get with a success partner right into the support team and have them walk you through and how you could do that through CINC, because you have your own personal page on CINC through your platform owner's website. Like it'll be Stephanie dot and then your like URL. So you have that. So that's number one. So I would reach out to them. I don't want you wasting your time. I'm not saying it's a waste of time, but I'm saying there's a better way to participate in the time that you have. And your leads have dried up, which means what, right? Like, have you got a hold of every single one of them that are in your pipeline and they told you no, and they're
No, I haven't on all of them. And I was doing a lot through OpCity. And OpCity's kind of dried up. Realtor called me and they've got leads they'll sell, but it's expensive and I can't afford it right now.
How many leads do you have right now in your system?
In the CINC system, I only have about 5. I was told to take all the numbers in my phone and put them in there. I haven't done that.
So
I've been really struggling with all of this.
Okay. So this is what I would do. You have social media?
I have a page, a Facebook page, and I've been keeping it up, and it's really great. I've had people look at it. They said it's pretty good. So I'm just back and forth. I have a regular page, and I've kind of switched people a little at a time over there. Also, I've met a lot of people at meetups online because I've been trying to get some support for the WordPress and the Divi that I'm using.
Yep.
So I'm going to try to get some of them over to my website, to my Facebook. I'm trying, I used to go out.
I love it. You're actually putting in some work, and I'm just trying to help you
Yeah.
streamline it, right?
Oh,
So
I used to go out into the stores and visit people, and there's a few places, new construction around where I live now in Georgia. I live near Lilburn, and I've spoken to the contractors, or the representatives there, and they have agreed to let me put them out on my webpage so I can attract more people. I have some marketing, but I just haven't used it in a while. I had some health issues.
Here's the two things that I want you to do. All right, I want to keep it simple. Success is in simplicity, right? When things become too complex, they become confusing, and action does not be taken, right? Does not take. So here's what I want you to do. Start using your personal page on Facebook, Instagram, whatever you have. Start using that to promote your business. Start using that to promote a real estate agent, right? So
yes.
I want you to focus on that. So the problem with a business page on Facebook is you get a 1% visibility from your friends. So if you have 1,000 followers, right, on your business page, you'll get 1% of those people will actually see any post that you make. Versus if you're doing it on your personal, you're getting upwards to 8 to 15%, depending on, actually it's 4 to 15%, really depending on the algorithm and all the things you put in there. So for you, focus on your personal more than your business page is honestly what people use it for nowadays. That's their website. Like that's their people go there to make sure that they're real and that they have reviews, things like that. So work on your personal page a lot more. And then number 2 is I would put out on there a post of like, hey, look, I am right now in real estate and we have so many homes that are on the market. Have you thought about buying a home? Right. And then just put that out.
I've been out like twice a day on my regular webpage. I mean, my Facebook. And the other one, I go a couple times a week. But I had to go out yesterday because I had someone from Neymar told me that there were a few things out there that I had to be compliant with. So, so I went out and made some changes on it. But I like to put both of them. I like to put it out on both.
Absolutely. And keep doing it and keep jumping on these calls. And just look, the way to beat resistance, because that's what everybody has right now, right? The way to beat resistance is through persistence. the way to beat resistance is through persistence. So keep doing it, Stephanie. Keep jumping on all these calls. We're here for you to help you succeed. Okay.
And thank you for this morning. A lot of what you said, I believe in. You have to think positive.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. And Kayla put also a link in there so that everybody can jump on more webinars. So I appreciate you, Stephanie. Keep crushing.
All right. Thank you both. Thank you, Kayla.
You're welcome. Yeah. Join us on more of the platform specific webinars and we'll get you set up and good to go. You'll be a pro.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. What else we got? So Cheryl said, I have a fear. I may get a question I don't know. I got to go back up. Where'd it go? There it is. I don't know the answer to. I know I could tell them I'll get that info. I want to appear that I know everything. Cheryl.
Hey, John.
Yes.
Can I circle back to Stephanie for just 30 seconds?
Of course you can.
There was a lot going on there, like trying to kind of attack and utilize a lot of different resources. Let's take a few steps back and think about the tools that we already have, right? Mm-hmm. So you're here because you use and have CINC. Well, within CINC, we have things like landing pages. We have things like Seller Suite, which is awesome for generating potential listings. You might have your own listings that you can share from CINC to social media, which can generate leads. You can even get permission from other people to share their listings to CINC to generate leads. And you can also, you can go into a random lead or create a test lead and make saved searches. So you could create a saved search for Nashville, Tennessee, homes, 3-bed, 2-bath, under 300, 300,000. You can take that saved search, share it to Facebook or other forms of social media in an effort to lead gen, right? So you already have these tools that you can use to lead gen and not have to go do these other things.
Where will I find all that information?
Definitely hop on more of the webinars, like with Kayla and Mike. And if you have a broker that's using, CINC, you can lean on them. They have a success partner that can help you with these things.
Yeah, I'm with Virtual Properties, and they've said a few things about it. I haven't really gotten into it, but I decided to go ahead and go with CINC instead of paying, for another CRM.
Sure. Well, let's just focus on those tools that you already have and how to use those best before trying to do a lot of things externally. So that was just going to be my piece of
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Good stuff. And I'm going to go to Cheryl's question really quick, because I think it's not just her who kind of has this fear of like, I don't want to say the wrong thing, or if I don't know it, I don't want to be asked a question and look quote unquote stupid. So she ended with, I want to appear that I know everything. And that's the thing, right? We have this issue where we want to appear, we want that we know everything. But honesty and transparency is more beautiful than knowing everything. So that's the first step. And secondly, I don't know everything. Matt doesn't know anything, right? Like, so what you don't, like when you realize you don't know what you don't know, that's your biggest opportunity to grow. So let them ask you a question you don't know. It's only going to make you smarter. It's only going to make you get better tools and get more resourceful. So challenge the hell out of me with questions, clients, please. And look, hey, if I don't have the answer, you just have one canned answer. Oh, I would love to be able to get you that answer. I just want to make sure that I have 100% clarity. I'm giving you the right one. So let me ask my broker. He's been doing this for 30 years, and I'll get you the right answer. But also, I promise you that fear that they're going to ask you a question that you don't know, it's not in that first call. Like it's not in the bedrooms. It's not in the bathrooms. It's not in the, asking about, location and lifestyle. Like, all that stuff if you've lived there before, if you've lived there for a little bit. Like, those things. Like, what are the questions you're scared they're going to ask? That's what I would like to know, Cheryl. What are the questions that you're afraid, like, that you don't know the answer to? Because on that initial call, there shouldn't be anything crazy. Now, when you get into financial things like that, yeah. But that's not your expertise anyway. That's why, hey, look, I got a preferred lender that when we do our virtual meeting, I'm going to go ahead and get him or her on there so they can go ahead and answer those questions for you. Right? So that's what I'm curious about. Like, what questions are you scared they're going to ask? And maybe you don't know what questions are going to be. And that's why you're a little nervous about it. But don't be afraid they're going to ask you a question you don't know, because if they do, you just respond with, I just want to get you the absolute best answer for that. Let me ask my broker, or whatever the case may be. But most of the time, what you're doing is you're making things way more complicated, right? You're saying they're going to ask a question. It goes back to what I said before. If you keep saying they're going to ask a question I don't know, they're going to ask a question I don't know, they're going to ask a question that you don't know.
Well,
so let's get that out of there.
I mean, the leads are just people, right? So when I'm talking to them, I'm talking to them like it's a friend. And how would I respond to a friend that asks me a question that I don't know or I can't quite recall? It's all in how you handle it. You know, if you let it stop you in your tracks, it's a lot worse than if you just say, that's actually a really great question. I'm not sure on. Can I check and, get back to you? But if you're just talking to this person like they're a friend, you don't have to be super formal. You can apologize. Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't really know that one. But think of these leads as just people, and they're your potential friends. And how would you respond if you were sitting across from them and it was just a friend you were talking to? And that's how I would handle not knowing something.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And guys, it's this fear. It's either like F everything and run, or face everything and rise. How many, you all hopefully know how to ride a bike. Maybe some of you guys don't, but like when you first got on a bike, like it wasn't easy. Like, okay, you had to fall a bunch of times. You had to get a bunch of scrapes, a bunch of bruises, and got a little bit better, Now what happens? You get on a bike and subconsciously, you know what to do without you thinking about it. How about when you used to drive to your office for your first time, right? Brand new office, you used to drive. Okay, gotta make a left here, gotta make it right here, stop sign there, boom, 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 boom. Okay, a week later, 10 days later, 2 weeks, 2 months, all of a sudden, a couple months later, you're driving to your office and you have no clue how you got there because your subconscious mind took over. But if you didn't go through the process, you didn't go through the work, then you want to be able to subconsciously get there without putting in effort and energy. So for anybody that's out there that's fearful of calling, or somebody's going to say something that you don't know the answer to, it's okay. So what? You don't know the answer. You're not going to look stupid. I promise you won't look stupid. What's going to look stupid is if you don't call because you're scared that they're going to say something. And that's
a
the
pretty
worst
good
part.
tie-in to Catherine's question underneath too. Of saying she's a new agent, she's been working with friends, but she doesn't know how to make a call where I don't know the person.
Yeah, and to me, it's like that's the only way you're going to build your business, right? And if you don't know how to make the calls, we're going to go over some scripting here, and we go over scripting every other Monday. So as long as you have the tools, as long as you have the script, it's going to be easy for you to make the calls. But you got to start practicing that script so it becomes one with you, right? The message becomes one with you, and you're not thinking about what to say next. The worst is pretend everything you know. Yeah, was that?
You just have to start.
Yeah, right. Like you just have to start, and start before you're ready. Start before you're ready. Someone says the worst thing is pretend that you know everything. You will fail doing this. Yes, absolutely. That's straight facts. Let's see. I'm great on calls. Same thing with Lori. So she said she's great on calls, but calling up a prospect and leads, and even following a script, I suck. For lack of a better term, I'm just calling people who are just not open to a call. No, they're open to a call because they filled something out, right? They actually registered on your website to look at homes. And it's our job to break through their fear of rejection and fear of disappointment to provide them value. Right. And like Stephanie said something, I'm selling myself. Don't sell yourself, guys. Sell the solution to the problem. Hear me again. Stop selling yourself. Sell the solution to the problem. And the problem is, who knows, right? Like it could be that they need to get closer to work because they're missing their daughter's recitals. They're not able to go to the gym and their health is falling apart. Like it's not that they get closer to work. There's something deeper. So the first thing is you got to have a solution to the problem. You don't understand the solution to the problem until you dive deep enough. Secondly is if you're not getting the right response, it just means that you have not mastered your scripting yet or belief behind it. Because people will eat you up if they hear your timidness and they don't feel like you're confident. They will eat you up. They will. So if you practice, right? And then you put the work in and make pivots, it'll get better and it'll get easier and get easier. But you got to role play. So Lori, how many days a week are you role playing? What else we got here, Kayla, while she answers that?
I'm scrolling through and looking.
Yeah, I'm not role playing. So Lori says she's not role playing. So let's think about this.
Yeah, John,
right?
just a quick tip, just to, you know, one way to convey yourself as being more confident is to really focus on that tonality.
Yeah.
You know, smile, be upbeat, you know, with your conversation, you know, be happy. You come across that way over the phone, they can tell, you know, when you're trying to convey an important point, actually like physically lean in, you know, they can pick up on that. That's one thing that definitely helps me out.
She said her nickname is Smiley. All right, Smiley. So we got to get you back to role playing. Okay. You said you haven't been doing it. Let's get you back to role playing, Smiley. Let's do it 5 days a week. Look, you don't become a champion in any sport if you practice once a week, twice a week, 3 times. Like it's a consistency of practicing, and then go ahead and start dialing, and always dial after your practice, right? Like, because think about like when sports teams, when they come out, they don't just go right into the game, right? Their warm-ups are they're going over their plays, right? Muscle memory. They're going over their plays so that they don't have to think about it when it's actually happening. So role play, then start dialing.
John, we have something. Stephanie, another Stephanie, asked if she could be unmuted to talk through something.
Let's do it.
She's saying she's having a challenge speaking to people within the first 5 minutes, and she likes it better when she can talk with them a little later.
Okay. Yeah, let's unmute Stephanie.
Hey there. Yeah, I just feel, I think the texts that are automatically go out are amazing. It really gets people talking. And I love picking up the conversation with them and texting them back and forth and calling them when they start responding. But yesterday I made like 40 calls, which is cool. And I spoke with 13 people because I'm trying to track. And getting a little emotional. So I'm feeling better about the scripting. Before I was like feeling completely lost, and I've been a realtor 18 years, but the scripting, I just wanted to say I'm Stephanie LaFew with Coldwell Banker, blah, blah. And a friend of mine who referred me, you said, no, don't say the company you're with, just follow the script. I'm like, So, but it's going well. But in the first 5 minutes, I feel that they're like, lose my number, don't call me. I mean, they don't want to be, in my mind, I've been told time and time by them that don't call me in the first 5 minutes. I just get a lot of hangups in those first 5 minutes. So I don't try to be negative in my thinking, but that's been my experience. So if you can help me walk through that, perhaps, or what I can do differently.
I would love to. First, do I have permission to tell you what you need to hear?
Yes,
First, what
please.
you want to hear. Okay.
Yes.
You know, and what I'm hearing here is that you are putting it out there, right, in your mind that they probably don't want to talk to me. I know you're not wanting to say that, but the words that you're articulating to us right now are that in your mind, you're like, they probably don't want to talk to me. They probably don't want to talk to me. There's so many people hang up on me. And so when you're dialing and that thought is in your mind, you cannot create this positive, confident message. It's very hard. It's very hard. So it's all about what you're doing before a call, Stephanie. This is what I'm hearing here. So it's all about what you're doing before a call. Like, what are you doing to get into state? Say, guys, write this down. See, we create out of our state. We create out of our state. So if your state is a little bit timid, if your state is like fearful, if your state is low anxiety, you're going to create content. You're going to create conversations. You're going to create in that same state. And that doesn't serve you.
Right.
That doesn't serve you. And I'm not telling you that you're not going to feel these things, guys. Here's like the big aha. People think, oh, I'm never going to feel anxiety. I'm never going to feel stress. I'm not going to feel fearful. No, you're going to feel that. You're human. It goes through our body. I want you to feel it for a second. Feel it. Let it go. Yeah. Okay. And then ask yourself, is that real? Like, yeah, there's going to be some people that may not want to talk to me, but I'm never going to get to the people that really want to talk to me unless I keep going. So you got to create a new state. And then from there, trigger yourself. Listen to pump up music, meditate, whatever it is that gets you centered, right? Whatever it is that gets you centered. Have your why in front of you. Get your feet grounded or stand up. Ideally stand up and start making these dials.
Oh, stand up. You feel that you come across better like that in your mind.
Good. Yes, absolutely. And so when you have this conversation, and if someone does hang up on you, and they do say lose my number, that's where Stephanie needs to be in control. And she needs to say next and get to the next one.
Right.
Like, you got to realize, like, people are going to hang up on you. People are going to say lose my number. But if you keep thinking that, more people will do that. Once again, I'll say it again. Go back to my notebook here. So when you say negative things out loud, facts and studies have shown there's a 40 to 50% increase that it'll happen. So and that's the way our belief system works, right? Like, we all of a sudden, like, we have this conversation with ourselves, like, oh, no one's going to want to talk to us. They're going to hang up on me. Your belief goes down. Your action goes down. Your results go down. And then you feed that belief. See, I told you you weren't going to be able to do it. Told you nobody wanted to talk to you. And it's this nasty, vicious cycle. Versus hearing and feeling that emotion for a second and being like, nope, that's not real. People do want to talk to me. I'm not going to be able to create the success I want thinking that. It doesn't serve me. Bye. On to the next belief that I know will serve me. And it's as simple as that. Like, it's as simple as when you hear that negative talk, use that, Stephanie, as your trigger to shift. Use that to shift your state, your perspective, and get on the calls. You're going to have days where you strike out, of course. But I promise you, people want to talk to you. I promise you, there's people that probably don't want to talk to you. But if you're never going to get to the people that you could help and you can serve, if you're worried about the people that you're not going to be able to help anyway. Right?
Right. As I'm making more phone calls, I feel more confident. I mean, yesterday, after I actually had 13 conversations with people, it was either by text or over the phone, that it was really good, and I could tweak their search, find out their time frame, set up my reminders. I'm just now going through my old people, and I've signed up, I think, in February. So I spoke to some people I spoke to in February, and they're like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for getting back with me. I mean, it was just really cool.
See, people do want to talk to you.
Yes.
So what do you mean? See, there's people that want to talk to you. You've already proven that. You're already proven that.
Well, it's those first 5 minutes that I need to do the shift.
Yeah, absolutely. Remember, guys, you're getting majority of your objections from your opening line. 70% of your objections, even if they come 10 minutes later, are forming from your opening line. And I tell you, Stephanie, if you call me with low energy, if you call me with like timidness and a little bit lost and not sure
Please
what
don't
you're
hang up on me. Right.
You know what's going to happen? I'm going to boop, because I don't want somebody that's like that's going to be handling the biggest transaction of my life. How the hell are they going to be if they're negotiating? Right? Like, right. So it's all about that first 5 minutes of that high energy, right? That because energy is contagious. And when we could transfer our energy and I can give you my energy and you bounce it back to me, our communication, our relationship, our conversation is such at a higher level that if I was just talking to you like this and I had a little bit of timidness and I'm a little bit nervous, I think you might hang up on me. It's going to be very hard. And I talked about it before. I was on stage with Tony Robbins like 2-3 years ago, and we did the whole state exercise. And so about 7 minutes or so, we went around and everybody did their hello and their name in their different state. And it's just remarkable to see, without you even trying, the shift of your face smile when someone's like, hey, Stephanie, what's going on? I'm John. Versus, hey, Stephanie, how's it going? I'm John.
Yeah.
Right? Like such a different feel. So hopefully that helped. Look, you're a rock star. Everything that you want is within you. And that's for everybody on here. Like the power is within you. Like you just need to activate the hell out of it on a daily basis.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate it, Stephanie.
We got some really cool stuff in the chat that I'll just read super quickly. Jill said that some that she's calling are escaping by browsing the website. Like one boyfriend was submitted to a hospital. Someone else didn't know how to move forward with a complicated inheritance. She said, we don't have the solution, but we can listen and follow up and relate to follow up. So who knows where it'll go. You never know what the person, sometimes people just want to chat because they're going through something, and you can be the person that helps them through that situation, which I thought was cool. Now more than ever, people have complicated stuff going on and they're going to want someone to talk to.
Absolutely.
Leah said that no stands for next opportunity.
You got that right.
Which I think is great. And then Lori said, you're right. People on my team are converting and booking appointments. This is on me.
Yes. That's what I mean. It's funny how, like a team lead, I'll have a conversation with a team lead and like my guys aren't sending appointments. They say the leads suck. I'm like, all right, let's get you on the calls. Let's do it this way. And then, 5 out of 7 people sets appointments. And he's like, oh my God, these leads don't suck. My agents are just sucking right now. So it's just, we got to evaluate, right? Like, and it's easy for us to fall down when, like Stephanie said, maybe you do get 5 people hang up on you right away. Like it's in that moment that will determine your destiny. It's not when everything's going great that's going to determine how well you do and how successful you are. It's not when you're motivated that's going to determine your success. It's when motivation leaves your body is when your destiny is shaped. And what's going to be a difference maker is understanding your why so your consistency doesn't die, understanding your reason so you can go ahead and keep pushing through, right? Like reason will push back against resistance. You got to have that. Like so Stephanie, another thing I'll tell you is get clear on your reason. So when people do hang up on you, you say, no, you know what? My daughter, my husband, my this, my that is way more important than that person hanging up on me. Let's go.
And I was just going to say, we definitely don't have a lead gen problem in the world we're living in. We're now more connected than ever. We have conversion problems. But the way, and circling back to second Stephanie, these are almost like affirmations for me. But I always recite them to myself, internally. But I remind myself every time that I dial that I'm not cold calling. I am not cold calling. I am trying to meet these people exactly where they are and help them because they came to me. They came to my site. And I think she had like a 13 out of 40 contact rate. That's like 30+%, which is what we consistently get. Yeah. So you're getting people on the phone. That's good. And just remind yourself too, that if they answer, if they pick up, they are available. They are able to talk. So, don't assume that you caught them at a bad time. All right. So nail that opening line, stand up, get that oxygen and go from there.
Yeah. And another thing, guys, is like the energy that it takes you to have this internal battle, this ping pong conversation with yourself. They're going to pick up, they're not going to pick up. They're going to hang up on me. They're not going to hang up on me. That energy takes way more than just picking up the damn phone and dialing. I'm telling you, like you'll burn so much more energy having this conversation with yourself than picking up the phone and dialing. And when you do that over and over again, you have these conversations with yourself. Should I do it? Should I not do it? What are they going to say? Let's say you do it 15, 20, 30 times a day. What's going to happen? It's not only going to screw up your energy on the calls, but you're going to feel really drained at the end of the day. You're going to feel burnt out. But you only made 30 calls. How are you burnt out? Well, it's the 30 dialogues that I had of myself for 10 minutes before I started dialing, 20 minutes before I started dialing. And when you're burned out, and you go home and you're with your family, now what happens? You're not present, right? We talked about it before. Being in the present moment is where your power is. You're not present with them. Maybe a little bit more snippy with your family, right? Like you're not taking care of your body and you're not eating like you matter. Like all those things, like everything's a ripple effect of something else that everything integrates. And you got to pay attention to that. When you're having that conversation, where else is it pulling you from? Where else is it taking energy from you? It's like Mark Zuckerberg, I think Bill Gates, all those guys, like they wear the same clothes every day. Why? Because the energy that it takes to pick out their clothes, that energy could be used to make a massively big decision that could change their life and others. So here's a little tip for you guys. If you're taking more than 5 minutes to pick out your clothes, do it the night before. Or just wear yoga pants and the same shirt every day, whatever you want. But you got to figure that out because, does this look good on me? Oh, no, I don't look too good. I look fat. Oh, my God, quarantine. These pants don't fit anymore. Oh, these shoes don't go with this. Oh, my hair looks stupid. Like 20 minutes of that, dude, that is exhausting. And then if not only that, it's negative, right? You feel negative afterwards and then like, whatever, I'll just throw this on. Then you're going to go dial. It's going to be so hard for you to align yourself into the right energy. So pick your stuff out the night before or just get really simple. One of the two.
I want to pitch something to Matt, if that's okay, John.
Go ahead, rock with it.
Jill said she's got some hangups, but she also gets often someone saying, oh, can I call you right back? So what do you say, Matt, when you encounter that on a live call with somebody?
So it's a great question, but before I do like let them go or they do hop off, I always ask for is there a better time? When's a better time to chat? But ultimately in knowing how our save filters work, she's going to be in there. And if I'm prospecting daily, I'm going to try and catch her again. And two, sometimes I'll try shortly after, with another follow-up phone call. And if that doesn't work, there's always text and email. But yeah, not spending a lot of time on them. I'll just try to get back to them at a later time.
Yeah, I love that. So what Matt's saying is like, don't say, okay, call me back. Like, okay, what time do you want to set this for? What time do you want to set it for? Now, will that make 100 for 100 show rate? No. But will it be a better show rate than if you said, okay, call me back? Absolutely. Absolutely. Because that guy's going to be like, oh, I told Matt I was going to call him at 12. I guess I'll do it. And guess what? If Matt knows that I'm supposed to call him at 12 and I don't call him, guess who now has permission to call me at 12:03? Matt. Right? So it's like, hey, man, I call me right back. You know what I mean? Or Matt, I'm going to go ahead and call you right back. Matt's like, all right, cool. So what time are you thinking? 20 minutes, 30 minutes? 30 minutes. Okay, so 12 o'clock? Yeah, that sounds good. Boom. Matt puts down 12 o'clock, call with John.
And a lot of times too, when you reevaluate that and you kind of think about what just went down, most instances you either had poor tonality or you didn't nail the opening line. Because when we nail the opening line, we give them the opportunity to say just browse, which is a quick out for them, but it's not really. So usually in reflection, I just didn't get one or both of those things right.
Yes, absolutely. You stepped on a landmine somewhere, right? And that's their response. Because remember, their biggest fear is rejection that creates disappointment. So when I talked about earlier, remember every time they think about the future, what happens to their mind? Same thing as your guys'. It's a pendulum, right? It goes right back to the negative, skewed past experiences that keep them safe. So Matt's calling me, and I know it's about real estate. I know it's about a house. And all of a sudden I start thinking about the future of buying a home. Where does my mind immediately go? Hey, Pass, do you think that's possible? I can go ahead and get this home, this beach house. I can get this new lifestyle for my family. Pass says, no, remember, you grew up in poverty. You can't have that. Hey, remember, you want to keep your money close to you. You can't have that. Remember the time you lost everything? You can't have that. So then I turn around and say, Matt, I got to call you back. Subconsciously, your mind's going to go to the negative skewed experiences because you're trying to confirm it. So what we went over this morning goes for your clients as well. So take that into consideration. What else we got?
We got another question. A good script to leave a voicemail. Many don't answer. I have one that I use, but I want to know your suggestions.
Well, first off, don't leave voicemails. We just don't leave voicemails. Now, if you were to leave one, this would be like after 20 tries, right? I would always do these 3 things, okay? It's going ahead, 4 things, high energy, okay? Number 2 is making sure that you have a piece of value for them, okay? Piece of value for them. Urgency, call to action. So it goes something like this. Hey, Matt, what's going on? Hey, I know you're looking over at some properties downtown. Look, the one just came on Main Street, that 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It's perfect, exactly what you're looking for. Look, it's not going to last long. I know a listing agent. I can get you in to take a look at it if you want. Just give me a call right back if you want to take a peek at it. Boom. That's that. Versus, hey, this is John. I know you're looking over, downtown for 3 bedrooms, 2-bath. If there's anything I could do for you or, anything I can do to help you, just give me a call back. Don't ever leave a voicemail that sounds anything like that, because that is no real call to action, nor either there's no urgency and definitely no energy. Does that help? And I would love to hear yours and if you're doing it on a every call basis. And once again, don't do it on every call basis. This is only if you were to do it.
Especially not in the first 10.
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not in the first 10 calls. What do they say if they say just browsing? So this is our opening line. Do you have that, Kayla? I think I do.
Yeah, let me throw it up real quick.
Okay. So I do want to get into this because I know a lot of people have been on here before. Some haven't. But guys, the scripts that we've created, it's 5,000 agents have been through our conversion course, and we have a 33% contact to appointment set ratio. 33%, 5,000 agents in all different markets. So Kayla's going to pop up the script that we use so that you guys can see the visual side of it.
You guys see that?
Yes. Perfect. All right. So when you call, it's very simple, right? We don't say their name. We're not saying the website. We're not saying our brokerage name. We're not saying, how are you doing? We're saying, hey, this is John with the home search site. I saw you're looking at homes over in Destin. Just curious, you looking to make a move in the next 3 to 6 months, or are you just browsing? Now, in his current moment, I would shift 3 to 6 to 6 to 12. Just because of the situation, right? I mean, obviously with everything going on, let's put it a little bit further out. So they're going to say just browsing most of the time. The best script is when you know your partner's lines. We've all been doing this for a really long time. We've been in the sales game for too long not to know our partner's lines. They say just browsing. And then you say perfect is exactly what the site is for. So while I have you, what's prompting you to browse? Does that help? So that's, once again, like we say just browsing in our opening line because that's what they always say anyway. High energy, tonality. And Matt's been using this even recently. You know, this is not just prior pandemic. This is recently. And Matt, how's it been working for you?
Very good, man. When it comes to the opening line, like really not a lot has changed. You can throw in some different verbiage around time frame. Next 3 to 6 months. That doesn't roll very well for me. I'll sometimes say like next few months or next year or so, you know, just to try different things out.
Yeah, I love that. Like it doesn't roll off his tongue, so he's not going to force it. But the whole point of it is the A/B question with knowing that A is probably not going to be the answer anyway. So we're trying to get that, just that opening line to have them say just browsing. Now, guys, hear me, because they still may say, you know what, I don't know, John. I just looking, man. I really don't know what we're looking for. Okay, well, let me ask you, like if you were, you know, to find your perfect house, would it be like a 3 or 4 bedroom? I would say 4 bedrooms. Now I go right back into the script. All right, interesting. So why 4 bedrooms? So even if they give you kickback, you just ask another question of like, no, I totally get it. Yeah, but what would it be if it was the perfect home? What would you think? 3 or 4 bedrooms? And then I go right back into that what question so I can find the why. Have you seen anything, Matt, lately that has been any kind of shifts that you had to make, whether with the script or anything like that in the last 2 weeks?
Nothing too drastic. Just want to reiterate, like we're considering the times that we are in. I still don't think it's a very good idea for us to bring it up. You know, we're kind of creating our own landmine and helping them step on it. So I'm
pushing them on it.
Yeah, I'm avoiding that. So it's too easy of an out for them and for us. So still trying to not make that, you know, a part of my conversation. Now, if they do go there, it's time to empathize and really say, you know, we get it, totally get it. But yeah, I set an appointment last night with a guy that in conversation found out he was already pre-approved and a good price point too. And the area that he was looking in has some inventory issues. Market's still very strong in Nashville, but he told me he was waiting. He wanted to wait until prices kind of level up or go down. And then my question to him was, his name is Seth. I said, Seth, if that were to occur, there's really no guarantees. Do you think that rates will go up or stay where they are? Because everything I'm hearing is that rates are going to go up. They're going to try to fund, you know, these loans back to all this money they were giving away for the first half of the year. So if prices were to go down, any savings that you might be able to capture is going to be negated by a rate increase. And it was like a massive aha moment for this guy. So that was one that really worked for me. It's been working for me.
And it's truth, right? It's truth, guys. So like, he's not just pulling it out to get the deal. Like we all can agree that, hey, we don't know the market could go up or down. That's one thing that is uncontrollable right now. We don't know. But one thing that we have a better idea of what's going to happen is that the increase of rates are definitely going to happen. That's I think a better chance. Like, and we have to make sure that we articulate to that, because they think right now that they know more than you. Your prospect, your lead thinks they know more than you just because of their perspective of, unfortunately, a real estate agent. So Matt just dropped massive value on this guy, something that he didn't know. So don't be scared to, you know, use your leverage and articulate that value. It's not a combative conversation. It's just being truthful. Like if you were to tell your friend, no, man, like we don't know what's going to happen. It could go up, could go down. But let me ask you this. Do you think interest rates are going to go up or they're going to go down? And then let him answer, I don't know, or up, right? Like either way. And then Matt said, look, what we're seeing is this. And then he threw some data out there. So I love that, man. It's definitely huge. And another thing is they just said they want to wait until after the pandemic, after the situation, whatever words they use. Like how Matt said, like lean in. Same thing. No, totally get it, Matt. But let me ask you this. Like before all this happened, man, what was the goal? What was the plan? And so when I come in and I'm I'm legit leaning in and pulling back. No, totally get it, man. Like I'm just so curious. Like what was the goal and the plan before all this happened? So if anybody brings up the situation that we're currently facing, you talk about what was the plan or the goal before all this, not after. Hey, when it's all clear, what do you plan on doing? That is so much uncertainty that when the mind goes there, remember what? Our mind goes to the future. Pendulum swings back to the past of like negative experiences. So we want to make sure that we're talking about what the plan was.
So, John, it looks like we've got about 15 minutes left. Do we want to do some role play?
Yes, please. So if anybody wants a role play, we got time for one person to do a little bit of role play. So I would love to get somebody in here. So if you want to role play, tell us to unmute you in the chat box. The first person to do it, we'll unmute them. And ideally, we'd like to have their camera on. Not a prerequisite, but ideally. So let's see.
You can put in RP in the chat so I know that that's what you'd like to do, just the letter RP for role play. And this is a safe space. No one's going to make fun if you make a mistake. That's how you learn.
Let's see. Who wants to go ahead and be vulnerable? So is George on here? I know George hit me up on Facebook, and George said that he wanted to role play.
Mr. Udine?
Yeah, George, I see you on here. I don't know if he's still good to role play. I don't know if he wanted to do it on Monday's call or this one. So guys, put it into role play. If you guys don't want to role play, all good. We're going to go ahead and continue to add value to you for the next 10, 15 minutes. Kayla, if you want to take down the thing, the screen share.
Yeah, I was going to say, if we don't have any role play volunteers, maybe if somebody has an objection they're struggling with.
Let's say, do we want to touch on this really quick, the close? I threw this up last time because we had a lot of people ask about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So look, the most important part of our script, guys, it's finding the why, right? Finding the 3 levels deep why. And now this close works, but it doesn't work if you don't have that. Like it works a very small amount of time if you don't have that. So that's the first step is you got to get super clear on their true pain or pleasure, which is the only reason why humans make decisions. And so even going through everything and you get the 3 levels deep, Matt, I'm going to go ahead and role play with you real quick. So let's say, Matt and I had great conversation. I found out some really deep rooted whys on why he wants to move, but Matt still wants to wait. Right? Still wants to wait. Matt, give me that objection that you still want to wait.
There's just too much going on right now. I think I'm going to hold off.
No, totally get it, Matt. But hey, let me ask you this, man. If I were to find you that 4-bedroom, 2-bath house that got you closer to work so you can get 8 hours back in your week so you can see your kids' baseball games, you can eat dinner with them, you can create those memories, you can toss the ball around with them that you've been missing so much lately, would you consider moving sooner?
I don't know, man. It would probably have to be a very good fit.
Absolutely. And look, man, I'm not going to ask you to go buy a house tomorrow. What I want is the opportunity to get you clarity that A, during the biggest transaction of your life, you're working with the right person. B, you understand and trust our strategy to get you the house for the best bang for your buck. And the best part is if the perfect fit does come on the market, checks off all those boxes, saves you that 8 hours a week, we can go ahead and take a look at it sooner than later. How does that sound?
Yeah, I mean, I would take a look.
Okay, so why don't we just do this? So next step in the process is simply we'll set up a quick and simple virtual call, whether it's Zoom or FaceTime. And we get on there, we'll show you our strategy, get to put a face to the name. And about 15 minutes in, we'll bring in our preferred lender, just ask you some other questions to make sure that what we're looking at, really aligns with what you could do. Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
Awesome. So what works better for you, Tuesday at 1 or Wednesday at 2?
Wednesday's probably better.
Okay. Awesome. So we'll do Wednesday. Let me ask you, do you use Zoom or do you have FaceTime? How do you normally do any kind of video calls?
Zoom's fine. I work
Zoom?
from home.
Okay.
Mhm.
Perfect. So what I'm going to do now, Matt, is I'm going to go ahead and set up a Zoom link. Do you use a calendar to run your day?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Man, if it's not on my calendar, it does not get done. My wife has control over it, so sometimes that's a mess. But I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to send you this calendar invite just so you have it on your calendar. What's the best email for that calendar that's linked to?
It's my Gmail.
Your Gmail? The one, is it Matt, the Mets suck at gmail.com?
That's not the one, but I've got another one.
Okay. Is it Matt, the Yankees are amazing at gmail.com?
Still not it.
Okay. All right. Is it just Matt at gmail.com?
Perfect.
Perfect. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to send you this. Hey, can you do me a quick favor?
Depends.
Depends. All right. So I just need you to hit accept on that just so it pops up on my calendar and yours. Is that fair?
Okay. Can do.
All right. Awesome, brother. Hey, last thing. I'm going to send you a quick reminder a few hours before our call, our virtual call. How do you like to communicate? Text, email, or phone call?
Prefer text.
Text. Awesome. So when I text it over to you, you're going to be able to see it for sure?
I will.
Love it. Awesome, man. I'm going to go ahead and send that on over to you as a reminder. If you need anything, let me know. Otherwise, I'm excited to talk to you and your wife on Wednesday at 2.
Sounds good.
So boom.
Perfect. We've got George ready to role play now too.
My man, George. Okay. We got, how much time we got left? We got 12 minutes. All right, cool. Let's get him.
All right, George, taking you off mute.
George.
Yes, sir.
How are you doing, buddy?
Awesome. Thank you for asking.
Of course, of course. So you ready to role play?
Yeah. Ring, ring.
Tell
Okay, you go ahead. Call me. Sorry. No, go ahead. Call me, please.
well, first, I want to tell everybody where you're from and how long you've been in real estate.
I'm in California. I've been off and on in real estate for a long time.
Okay. Whereabouts in Cali?
I'm in around Orange County, the best for everybody to know. Anaheim, close, Tustin, California.
Awesome. Okay. So you're going to be the agent and you're calling Matt.
Okay.
Okay. So I can go ahead and get my notes. Matt, you ready to rock with this?
I'm ready.
Lean with it, rock with it. All right. Go ahead.
I'm the agent. Okay. I got blocked out.
It's all right. Just go ring, 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 and then start the opening line.
Okay. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Oh, this is George with the Home Search website. That you're. I see that you're looking at some houses in Anaheim area. As curious to know, are you planning to buy anything in the next few months, or you just browsing?
Just signed up. I was actually just looking.
Oh, that's great. That's what the website is for. Just curious to know what are you looking for.
Really not sure yet. I just kind of was curious about like what's going on in the market.
And what brings you to, makes you curious to find out? I mean, are you planning to buy anything next few months, or what's the plan?
My lease is up at the end of July, so I'm, like I said, I'm not really sure about what I'm going to do, but I was just checking out some homes.
Oh, fantastic! So if your lease is over by July, so we have few months yet, and that's the best position to be. And in order to be able to do that, I was wondering if you have some times that we can set up and do some exploring and find out. And at the present time, are you tell me a little bit about your present condition right now.
Well, I don't really have to move. I can go and do like a month to month, but I prefer not to do that. It gets a little pricey if I do that, but I certainly don't, like I said, don't have to pack up and move, especially during, all these crazy times. Not really sure about spending that kind of money with what's going on, but apartment's getting kind of small. So was just wanted to check out and see what home prices were like.
Awesome. That's the best way to look at it. But it's a lot of uncertainty in the market. But I'm sure I want to let that you're wasting a lot of money by paying that rent every month. And once you buy a house, you have a lot of saving, and I'm sure that would be the best way to go. Don't you think so?
Yeah, that's kind of the idea, but I don't know. I don't want to make a big purchase like that and then the bottom drop out.
Well, it's buying a house. If you look at it, I know everybody's worried about that. Buying a house is not doing some sort of a investment, short-time investment. You got to look at it long term. In the long term, you're going to be making a lot of money. And are you the only decision maker, or your wife is also part of this equation?
Well, I like to think that I'm the boss, but I both know that's not the case. So she'll definitely have a hand in the decision.
And this place that you live in presently, how many bedrooms are they, and what are you looking for?
It's 2-bedroom, 1 bath.
2-bedroom, 1 bath. Wow, that's great. So how important for you is that to have additional bedrooms?
No, we're pretty good with where we're at. As far as size goes.
Oh, great. Well, I was wondering when would be, what is the other reason, just beside the room, the number of bedrooms that you have, that you want to just move out and get another thing?
Definitely don't want to be up on the 3rd floor anymore. Like to have maybe a little bit of a yard, not too big.
That's great. What are other important things about that?
Close to work would be nice. We're closer to work. Good internet. We're pretty easy to please.
So it seems like you're almost there. So it's just a matter of, it's a big investment, and maybe one of the biggest investment that you want to make in your life. So I guess it would be, if you allow me to, I'm not trying to push you to buy anything. What I'd like to do is that, create some sort of a strategy for you to show you the rent versus owning a house, and the saving and the timing, and how much time you're going to be saving going back and forth to work. Apparently you're not close to your work, and all of those saving that you can make. How's that sound?
Yeah. I mean, it'd have to be the perfect place, but I'd be open to that.
Well, tell me a little bit more about perfect place.
It's more so about the money.
It's about the money.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. May I ask how much rent are you paying right now?
About $2,500 a month.
$2,500 a month. Did you know that, roughly speaking, with that amount of money that you're paying, almost you can pay about $400,000 loan, and at the same time, paying that $2,500 a month is maybe about you're wasting about $30,000 a year, and on top of that, you're not making any, saving any tax, and putting all of those numbers together. If you buy a house, you're going to come ahead. Have you ever talked to any lending or any person to qualify you?
No, and I'm sorry, George. I got to hop off here, man. The dogs are barking, so I apologize. I got to run.
When would be the best time, if you don't have to talk right now? We can talk. When would be the best time I can call you back so we have more time to talk?
Yeah. You're welcome to email me some stuff. I'd love to take a look at anything you think might be a good fit.
Well, emailing it's just not what I still want to know a little bit more about you and your wife and your condition. So I would love to set upon some sort of appointment that you have more time with your wife, so we can go over to all your needs and your requirements, so I can manage to help you to buy something.
Yeah, that's fine. Our early evenings are good. If you want to give me a call back, I'll try to get my my wife on the phone as well.
Today about 6 o'clock, or tomorrow about 6? Which one would be better?
Tomorrow around 6 works.
I was wondering, are you working in any sort of calendar so I can, setting up anytime we can, send you a reminder for tomorrow, so make sure that we are going to be all about it or not.
Yeah, that's fine. You can just email it to me.
Email it to you?
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Thanks, George.
Okay.
Awesome. So George, good job, man. And I want to applaud you for reaching out to me. First off, you slid into my DMs on Facebook, and you asked to do this. So that initiative itself is amazing to see. It shows that you want to get better, right? And so I do applaud you tremendously for doing that. I want to dive into some things that I saw, but I know it's harder for Matt to do it while he's in the moment of role playing, and that's why I love having him and Kayla here, so that we both can kind of take different perspectives on it. But Matt, is there anything off the top of your head that you want to touch on? You give him some feedback.
Man, I always say this, and it's the truth. It takes a lot of guts to do what you just did, so that was fantastic. And then I saw somebody too that said that I was being a tough cookie, and we've actually been tougher. It wasn't too bad. But the best way, and when role playing, you don't want to be a pushover. You want to be challenging, because it's gonna make everybody better. Because I'm learning from him too. I
love it. Kayla, what you got?
I was taking some notes here, and first of all, I think that you sound super friendly, which is great. You know the script. I think you knew the right questions to ask, and you were super persistent, so you didn't let him, get you. You never really stumbled looking for the next thing to say. You just kept going, which is awesome. In terms of things to just kind of watch, I only jotted down a couple of things. He was dropping some nuggets for you early on where you could have gotten off of the whole, benefit of owning versus renting and getting more into what kind of house he would want to be in. So you could find out truly why he wanted to, move from, a house, from his apartment to a house. But also, you asked him about his wife. And so I just wouldn't assume that anyone's married. I wouldn't assume if anyone's got a wife versus a husband. You can just ask if anyone else is helping him make the decision, because we just never know who we're talking to, and that can be a big snake to step on for some people.
Yeah. So, and I agree with the whole wife. I had that written down, assume, because if we assume in one area, a lot of times, George, everybody listening, we assume in other areas, and it could really crush our rapport. Right? It really can, from school systems to partners to whatever it might be. But your opening line was good, George. I know obviously you're nervous, so I totally understand and get that. But your opening line was good. I love that you said, you're in the best position with your lease. That's what you want to do. You want to give him confidence. What I would have said is, you're in the best position with your lease, and then say, you're looking at the perfect time. Just that little bit of change as well. Your persistence was awesome. A few things that to change, right? You said in your opening line, are you looking to buy in the next 3 to 6 months, or are you just browsing? Let's remove the word buy and let's replace it with move. When you say the word buy, most people have this fear initially right out the gate of funds, money, buying things. You don't want to bring up the word buy. Yeah, they get it. They have to buy the house. But when you use that vocabulary, use that language, it will trigger an emotion that usually won't benefit you. So move versus buy. And then he was kind of giving you pushback, and that's where you got lost. I think that's where a lot of people get lost. He said just browsing. Then he was like, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just looking, So just slow it down and just say, just curious. Is it a 3 or 4 bedrooms? A, B question. So even after you say, what's prompting you to look, and he gave you kickback, you just simply say, okay, totally get it. Let me ask you, 3 or 4 bedrooms. What are you thinking? This way, then he would give you one of the two, and then you dive into why is that important to you. And then I heard you keep trying to come out with it, but he said, he gave you a great bait bomb. He said, man, the place is just getting too small, and you skipped over it. So if you hear that, your response should have been, interesting. Tell me more about that. All right, tell me more about that. I got 3 kids. We're in a 2-bedroom. And now he's going to start really, really spitting out some real big bait bombs that you can utilize throughout the rest of the call. Another thing is just asking the current situation. I heard you kind of go about that, but in a different way. You also had said that there's a lot of uncertainty in the market right now. Eliminate that. There's no reason to put that fear into him, whether he knows it, believes it, or thinks it. So any uncertainty in the market, it's your job to let him know that there is certainty in the market, because you have a solution to their problem. Everything else is good. Oh, the other thing I would say is, and this is for anybody listening, like he's like, hey, just send me an email. And you were just kind of like, you're like, oh, I want to make sure that I get you set up with a search. Get real simple with it, right? If someone says that, hey, and Matt, let's role play for a second. So let's say send me an email instead of an appointment. Let's say if I asked you for an appointment, like, man, just send me an email.
Send me an email.
Yeah, George, absolutely. I could totally do that. But let me just ask you this, man. Let's just say, God forbid, you're up for a big court case, murder charge, something crazy. Would you want to meet your attorney day of, or would you want to meet him prior?
Prior.
Prior? It's interesting. Why would you want to meet him prior?
Well, I just want to make to know and find out and get to know him a little bit better and get a confidence from him.
Yeah, and I know it's kind of a silly question, right? But I ask it because this is one of the biggest transactions of your life. And being that, we want to make sure that you're working with the right person, you understand our strategy, and you have complete faith that we're going to get you the home that fits everything you want for the right price. And so our process is to make sure that you feel that confidence. So I could totally send you emails, but I want to make sure that you understand our strategy and you obviously put a face to the name, and that you have confidence going in. Is that fair?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And like I said, I'm not going to ask you to buy a house tomorrow, George, at all. When the right time comes, the right time comes, but at least you'll know you got the right person in your corner. Sound good?
Great.
So I just use an analogy. And like people are like, oh, that's such a stupid question to ask about the attorney. It is stupid, but an analogy will break it down for them to understand. And then you come back and be like, look, I know that was kind of a silly question to ask, but there's a reason why I asked that. But other than that, man, that was good, man. I appreciate you jumping on. Do you have any questions?
No, I'm just looking for rolling play partner. Anybody wants to role play with me every day.
I love it. Also post on Facebook and get some people to role play. You should be role playing every day.
Great. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Great job, George.
Yes. George. All right. We're about to wrap up here. Before we do, Kaylee, got any last words?
For me, I used to think that like meditating and stuff was really woo-woo, and I was like, I'm more scientific than that. But like doing something that gets you out of your comfort zone can take you further than you ever thought that you could go. So if you're not currently doing any sort of mindfulness or meditation or something, it's just a nice way to get you out of your head and like set your good like intentions and good feelings for the day. So I highly recommend people do it. I've been using this app called Waking Up, which does a guided meditation every morning, and they have a lot of like conversations and stuff. Taking that time for myself has been really important and really good for me. So I highly recommend that people check out the Waking Up app if you want some help on that. It's been really good.
Awesome. Good stuff. Matt.
Yeah, just to George's point, like just in regards to role play, and even too, like with the opening line, like just saying it in the mirror, like over and over and over and over again, getting really good at it. It's all muscle memory, so you don't build muscle or get stronger in the gym by lifting, lighter weight. So be persistent with that stuff, and you'll get better. You'll get better.
Absolutely. And guys, as I'm wrapping up here, do us all a favor in the chat, write down your takeaways. Put some takeaways down there so we could see them. And we'll take the last few minutes to really talk about takeaways, because sometimes people miss something and a takeaway will help kind of bring it to light. So put your takeaways in the chat. I started today with the Bill Buckner story, right? Then we went into the most powerful place you could be is in the present, it's in the now. And I believe that a lot of times we can know the what, but if we don't have the why behind it, it's hard for us to take the action, right? So if I told you, go ahead and lift this weight 1,000 times, and you're like, why? I'm like, because it's going to make your muscle bigger. Probably not going to do it, right? You're going to be like, this is annoying. I'm not going to do it. But if I tell you, hey, the reason you want to lift it 1,000 times is because it's going to go ahead and cause this muscle tension. It's going to then break down your muscle that will then rebuild into a bigger form that you're looking for. Oh, okay. And I want that. That's what I'm going to keep doing. So the reason why we went into these stats and we went into understanding what your mind does, like the pendulum swing, is because this is the why behind what we're teaching you guys every single day in a different CINC webinar. And obviously what we're doing here in the Rewire Your Mindset, Reshape Your Skillset webinar. The thing is that when you wake up every morning, what are you doing to serve you, right? Like, what words are you articulating out into the universe? Remember, when you speak out loud negative things, there is a 40 to 50% increase that it will happen. I don't know about you, but like there's already a lot of hard things I have to overcome, and there's a lot of tough situations. I don't want to make it any harder. So knowing that Bill Buckner story of like the dude 19 days before said that the worst thing that could happen is the ball going between his legs and them losing the World Series, and then it actually happening. Think about that every time you have a negative conversation with yourself, and realize that the power that you have is in the present, and it's all within you. You just need to activate it on a daily basis. I'd love to see some of these takeaways. I know that they're coming in, and then we'll wrap up here in a second. What we got?
Yeah, Catherine said, practice, practice, practice. Role play.
Yes. What was the goal before all of this? Do not ask what the plan is once this is over. Yeah, huge takeaway. Positive, persistent, find a why. No one else will. Yes, that's facts. Remember, in order to beat resistance, because we all feel resistance in our business and our life, the only way you beat resistance is through persistence, right? We create out of our state. Yes, good state, good results. Good state, good results. Extraordinary state, extraordinary results, right? Next level. Get to the next level. What else we got? Make those calls. Just do it. What was it?
Words have power.
Yes. I'm telling you, change your words, change your world.
I saw a lot of people in there making comments about getting ahead of themselves or being afraid of saying the wrong things or maybe saying it too fast.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to be quiet and listen.
There's power in that.
Mm-hmm.
There's power in silence, guys. There really is. I had to learn that. I'm such a high energy person, and like I'm so loud that like I had to learn the power of being silent and just being there in that moment. So if anybody could do it, like if I could do it, anybody could do it. Like I'm very high, strong, on a go. And when I realized like it could change the game for me by just being in the present and slowing down and just listening. And then it did change the game for me. I hope that you guys know if I could do it, I promise you anybody could do it. So guys, if you need me, reach out, Facebook, Instagram, @RealJohnMarone. So if you guys want to find me on Instagram, once again, @RealJohnMarone, hit me up. Let's have a conversation. If there's anything I could do to serve you, I'd be more than willing to help you any way I can. Just slide into the DMs. But other than that, guys, we appreciate your time. Don't hesitate to reach out to Kayla. Don't hesitate to Matt, or don't hesitate to reach out to Matt. Don't hesitate to reach out to me. And please, 2 weeks from now, we'll be doing this again. Jump on, be present like you are today. And hopefully you guys take some of the information and create some implementation. We appreciate everybody on there. And we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Oh, you're putting that up there?
Yeah, so they can see for next 2 weeks.
Okay. Oh, nice. Perfect.
Bye. Great job today.
See you guys.